Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be replacing the front wishbone bushes on my mk3 Mondeo with some poly bushes from Flo-Flex. Now I'm going to crack on with this one and let's take you along with the ride. So first thing you need to do is remove the arch, the liner here, like a bit underneath. You don't need to, but it makes access easier for the bolts. As you can see, I've already done all this because I've not long just done these front anti-roll bar bushes, and basically the bolts you're looking for is this 15mm bolt here, this 15mm bolt here, and down here this ball joint down the bottom, just where is it, just here is a T55. And what else do you need? You'll need to lower the subframe just here. There's two 10mm bolts at the back of this. Let's see if I can get an angle on it. Yep, these two 10mm bolts here need to come out, and then I believe this is an 18 bolt here, and you just drop them down. So when you undo them 18mm bolts on the back of the subframe, you're only undoing the two bolts. Use a trolley jack to keep the weight off it, and you can lower it down gradually so you can release them two top 15mm bolts. So I guess the first thing we need to do is get these wishbones out of the car. So if you're just literally replacing the wishbones and not upgrading the poly bushes, you can use this guide as how to replace the wishbones on your mk3 Mondeo. But I'm going to be replacing the bushes with poly bushes, so I'm going to be using the same actual wishbone, it's just different bushes. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. So just get the wishbone out of the car and then we can do the rest on the bench. Let's go. So what I'm going to start off by doing is just slackening off all the bolts. I'm going to start with this bolt here. This is a 15mm. I have got my impact wrench here, just in case any of these bolts are hard to get off, so I can use them. They should crack off quite nicely because they've had a good few hours soaking in penetrant fluid. So, alright, get it on there, get it in position. If you can see that cracky. Oh, there you go. I'm not going to release that fully just yet. Next I'm going to attempt to uncrack this bolt here. This is the 18mm bolt with the T55 on the other side. So I'm going to use a ratchet spanner because I've got the upgraded brake calipers and struggle getting the socket on there. So just going by, oh, got it around the wrong way. Okay, so one last thing I can do, and that's remove the caliper so I can get access to the 18mm bolt on the other side. It's a lot more faffing to get this out, but to be honest, if I can't get this out, this job ain't happening today. But I do believe I will get it done. So I'm just going to I'm just going to remove the caliper and rest it aside and see if we can get access to it. I'll come back in a minute. So what I've done is I've removed the disc and the caliper. I've just slid it out of the way for now to get access to this 18mm bolt. Hopefully it'll come off with the impact wrench. So cover your ears. There you go. Easy as that, look. And it comes off. Then we have to do next, tap this out. Where's my hammer? In fact, I've got my pry bar. Move the camera, I'll show you what I'm going to do. See? So I've got the pry bar. Just pull it out. And then so you know which bolt goes to it, I'm going to put the nut and all back together like that and just set it to the side. Now let's see if that's come down. Just smack myself smack in the nose. Look, smack myself in the nose, give myself a nosebleed. So I'm going to go and clean myself up and then come back to you. Okay, as you see from the previous clip, I had a bit of an accident. There was a bit of blood involved. What it was when I was prying to get the bottom ball joint out of its socket, I slipped and smacked myself in the nose. I went inside for an hour or so and just cleaned myself up, had a drink, you know, and I've come back out here with a fresh head and I'm going to crack on with it. So all I've got left to do now is remove the 15mm bolt from the rear of the wishbone, lower the subframe on both sides a bit enough so I can pull it down and take that bolt out, and then I can work on removing the actual old bushes from the wishbone and put the poly bushes in. So let's crack on now and try not to have any more accidents. So let's go. So with this bolt out here, the 15mm bolt from the back end of the wishbone and the ball joint bolt removed, the next part of this is you need to remove this 15mm bolt here, and to do that you need to locate the 18mm bolt underneath here. Let me show you. There's an 18mm on the bottom, 15mm on the top. There you go. And that's one of them threaded bolts. That's threaded locking bolts. Now the only way you're going to get this out is by lowering the subframe, like I said. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo this bolt here and these two 10mm bolts here. All along I've been saying this is an 18, and turns out it's actually a 21, so that's my mistake. These two bolts here are definitely 10mm and this one's broken off. The nut inside here, that's on the underside, is sheared off, so you can't tighten it up, but this one's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this 10mm and undo this one, and then I should be able to sway this little plate out of the way. So let's crack on and get that done. Done up super tight. So what else left to do now is undo this fully, but before I undo this I'm going to put the trolley jack and raise it up and support the actual subframe. So guys, I went indoors after that clip because I weren't in the right frame of mind to carry on filming. Took a couple of paracetamols and give myself a bit of a rest and some downtime. So now I've come back out here and I've got a bit of a better head now, so I can concentrate on what I'm doing and focus better. And what I've done now is I've removed the 21mm bolt on the driver's side from the subframe and put that plate out of the way. I'm now going to go to the passenger side, undo them two 10mm bolts and the 21mm bolt as well. And I've got my trolley jack in place ready so it don't drop down. And once all them bolts are out of the way, what that will do is allow me some levy to pull the back of the subframe down to get them two 15mm bolts out. But what I'll do is I'll show you the process and what I'm doing. and that is this out. Back round to the driver's side now. Okay, so now we're going to get this bolt fully out. Okay, so as I was moving the camera, the ball joint dropped out. So I missed that, didn't catch it on camera. Literally, I just nudged this and it just dropped out. And that's probably because you've taken the pressure off by removing that bolt at the back here. So all that's left to do now is lower the subframe a bit more and remove that 15mm bolt just here. Nearly out, as you can see, a lot of wiggling. Not the camera, sorry. There you go. That's it out. So all that's left now, just pull it out. So guys, there you have it. One wishbone out. And what a pain that was to do. All you need with this, I'd say, is a bit of time, a bit of patience, take your time, and in my case a little bit of blood was drawn. So I can see now why a garage would charge you £700 to change the wishbones. But I've got it out, there it is. So I'm going to be changing this bush and this bush with some of these Flo-Flex ones, which are really good. The next part of this is now I've got to work out how to get this bush out and this bush out, and then in a later video I might even change the ball joint here, because as you can see it's in with rivets, and I've got some new ones to go in. So let's crack on, shall we, and get these out. now that's left is to cut the shell out. Okay, so a bit of an update. I've managed to get this piece out. This bit was sat inside here, on the lip here. It was sat like this. So I've managed to move that out and get this bit out, because this bit was stuck in there. I was trying to prise it out. It turns out it's a bit of metal covered in rubber. Now all I've got to do now is remove this outer sleeve. I'm going to cut it out with either a hacksaw or my Dremel. If you use a hacksaw or Dremel, you just got to be careful not to cut too far and cut into this piece here. This is the outer bit. You only want to be cutting the shell out just so you can release the tension on it. So I'll probably use my Dremel enough to pull it out. So, and then what I'll do is I'll crack on with the back one here. And then I've already made a start here, as you can see, but that's for another video on changing the ball joints there. So let's crack on and take you along. Okay, so I've got it set up here on the bench. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt it with a hacksaw first and cut away. So I've got myself a great big hacksaw here. We're going to have to put the blade through inside. So we're going to have to slacken it off a bit. And I'm checking the outer line here so I can see if the blades come through, and under the bottom here as well. I'm going to smack this with a hammer, see what happens. Moving. Let's try and get a bit more. There we go. And there it is. That's one out. Just got to do this back one now. We just got to do this one now. The same sort of procedure as with this one. Heat up the metal, the plastic. See if whack it back on. Yep. So put the cold bit and tap it out with a hammer. Then I'm just pushing out the rubber bit. And that's that done. That one was quite easy compared to this big one at the bottom. Okay, so I started removing the sleeve from here. I've been heating up with some butane gas with like a torch adapter on it. And when it's getting hot, heat up for about 4 or 5 minutes. then smacking it with a hammer and chisel to push it out. As you can see, it started to come out there. I've already started a little bit on it, so I'll get some footage and show you. And while it's hot, use your chisel and smack it out carefully. You can see it's nearly out. Just keep tapping it and it'll come out. Don't touch that, that'd be hot. And so will this, so you've got to let it all cool down. So there it is, there's the sleeve out for that bushing. A lot of heat for a couple of minutes and tapping it out with the chisel and the hammer, and it comes out. Now I'm just going to let the actual wishbone cool down, and I'm going to get the ball joint out. I'm going to cut that out, give the whole wishbone a lick of paint. I'm just going to give some matte black paint and stuff and give it a tidy up, and then I put the new bushes in. So as you can see, it's had a lick of paint now. It's matte black with some matte black clear coat on it. Now's the time to put the poly bushes in, the back one and this main one here. The ball joint's been done. I'll put a card up the top of the screen where you can watch a video where I remove this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with this poly bush, which is the back one here. And what we're going to do, just to help aid it in, get a little bit of copper grease and just smear it around. And that should help it slide into place. Always have a rag, something to wipe it on. I'm concentrating on getting these in. Now I'm going to see if I can find something to help pinch these together. There you go. Took a couple of tries and playing around with it, but that's gone in. I've used a bit of wood. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to trim this down so I've got a bit on each side, so I can do the other side, one here, another bit here, and then clamp on that and pull it in. So now that's in, we've got to get the actual metal sleeving bit in. So I'm going to probably do this the same way, put some copper grease on it. Okay, so after a lot of scratching my head, I've decided I'm going to try it like this. I've got the both poly bushes actually in place, and I've started to slide this bit in, and I've managed to get it in enough to get this bolt through. It's a bush removal tool, and I've done the cap, got it tightened up, and I'm going to try and see what happens. So I'm just going to show you in case this actually works. So let's actually see if this works. The idea is this has got a bit of copper grease inside to help slide it through. I'm just going to tighten it up. But you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually pretty much done doing it like that. So if you get yourself one of this kit, I'll put a link in the description so you can get one. Well, you wouldn't believe it, but after all that, alright, it's still not 100% in line, but it's in. There is a little bit of a gap around each side. Now I'm just going to concentrate on getting this big piece in. With the back bit, you get a couple of, comes in two parts like the first one. Move the copper grease out the way. And you get two washers like, you get two washers like that, they sit on top. On there. Then you get your metal sleeve, got the bit in the middle. And how this one works, with thanks to Flo-Flex, they've told me the best way to install it. Again, top bit first on this side. This one just pushes in. And then same on the bottom. So if you can't see that on the camera, I'll keep cutting off. There you go. And that's that one in. And what's left is the metal bit in the middle. This bit. Right, I'm going to put a bit of copper grease on here. Sorry, keep going off the camera. And then we're going to put it in. And hopefully this one goes in easier than the last one. Put some copper grease up inside the bottom hole here. See if that helps. Quite good. This is quite fiddly to get this one in. The rest of the bushes were easy. This is probably by far the most fiddliest one I've done. Don't know if I put any more pressure on it that way. That moved a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit one of these plastic bits like this on the floor, and I'm going to use the pressure on this bit of wood and slowly ease it in, and we'll see if that works. So I've got my mallet. And a bigger lump of wood. And I'm just going to give it a few gentle taps. It is moving it in, it is actually going in. Look at that, it's actually gone in now. A few more, just keep persevering with it and it's actually gone in. So what you do now, you've got these two washers, one sits in the top, the other one sits in the bottom. then give it a clean up, and that's ready to go back in the car. What I've done, I've lowered the subframe on the one side only. I've lowered it here and on the back end of it as well, underneath the bolts, because I've seen it done several ways online, and I tried that way where you lower it at the back end, both sides, to get it down, to get this bolt out. But you don't actually need to do that, you just lower it on the one side like that, and it'll, hopefully this way will make a difference. So let's crack on, let's get it in and see what happens. What I'm trying to do now is, as I push down the subframe and push in on the wishbone, the lower arm here, I'm trying to pop the ball joint back in place as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the subframe a little bit. As you can see, you can't really, so I apologise. But it has gone in, look. Just a lot of wiggling and tapping it with the rubber mallet, because you don't want to break the bear, bust it up anymore. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower the subframe a little bit and hope, just so you can see what I've done. Okay, I've let the trolley, I've let the subframe hang because I've not completely undone these, so the threads are in. Okay, and what I've done is I've used the trolley jack and I've jacked up the ball joint and pushed it in. It's all lined up. So now that's left is to get the right bolt here, making sure this faces the right way, and I believe it's with a hex key facing to the front and the bolt to the back. I'll get that in. I'll get that other 15mm bolt in there, push this one in, push this bolt in here. This is the Fiddly one, so I'll get that in. What else is left? And then just put it back together gradually. And I know it's a bit damaged and scratched now because that's where I tried to get it in the other way, but this way I reckon is going to be easier doing it. And it's, believe it or not, it's actually what the book says, which the videos you see online where they lower it down both sides on the back here, well, they make it look so easy. You know, they've undone the two, I believe they're 21mm bolts on the back here and here, over the back on both sides, lower it down on the back end, and they pop these out and make it look really easy. So what I've done, I've got the side to get the wishbone back in. I've got the back end of it all lowered down. I've got my bolt all ready. Right, that's that one in. Okay, so how I've done that is I've lowered the two 21mm bolts at the back of the subframe on each side, the driver side and passenger side, put a bit of pressure on it and got it in that way, kept wiggling it, and it has gone in. So what's left to do now is put this one back in, and then we'll attempt to put the ball joint back in. So let me just crack on with that and see what happens. Okay, so what I've just quickly done is I've undone the bolt at the back, the 15mm on the rear bush, so I can get a little bit more play on here. I think that's what I need to do. Got it all lined up eventually. Yep. Oh, too much pressure on the brake line now. That's the ball joint in. Get this bolt in. Bolt to the front. T55 on the back. Now I'm going to do the back one here. Drive shaft's popped out. Just try and line it back up, put it back into place. The drive shaft is something to be replacing at a later date, so okay. So what I have to do there is the drive shaft come out of place, so it's knackered. I think all the, you know, the bearings all fell off. I've had it apart quickly, so that make for another video later on. But what I've done now, for the sake of this video, to get this wishbone back in, is I've had it out, put all the ball joints, clipped them back into place, and I'm gonna have to clear up in a minute because there's loads of gunk everywhere from it. You know, all the oil and grease and muck. But it's slipped back in. I'll show you the front bush going in place now, and we'll do that up. As you can see there, it's just literally pushing it and it's gone in. So you get, where I put it, the 15mm bolts. Okay, then using a small pry bar, you can see all the gunk on top here, all around here where it's popped here. But I've pushed it back in for now. I'm going to put some tyres around here, some Jubilee clips around the top and bottom parts to hold it all back in for now. And I'll order a new drive shaft on this side and get it replaced. But let's get this finished here, shall we? Just to help line it all up. See if we can get the bolt in there now. Not quite. There we go. Let me do that up. That's a 15. Oh. And that is it. Everything's done. Do the subframe back up. and that's it in. So there you have it, guys. You know, it's not the easiest job to do. If you're using this video just to change the wishbones, I'm sure it'll be a lot easier than this. But I've ripped out the old bushes and put poly bushes in. They're that much more firmer. It's a pig of a job to put them back in, but it can be done. This way I've shown you here may not be the best way. Other people may do it differently, but that's how I've done it, and that's the way I found it easiest. Whilst putting that rear one back in, I've pulled, obviously at some point accidentally I've pulled the drive shaft too far out, and it's caused the bearings inside the case to pop off, which was stopping me pushing it back in. So I've had to take the CV off and just put them back on just to push it all back together again. But I've got to replace the drive shaft on this side anyway, so that'll be for a later video. So as always, guys, sorry again, this video's taking a little while to get out. The next polybush video will be doing the front subframe bushes. I'm not going to show you the other side because I've still got the passenger side to do. It's the same sort of principle as what I've done here. But for now, if you like the videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. And again, I just want to shout out Flo-Flex for supplying these for us on this job and the next one, which is the front subframe, like I say. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.